What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to another installment of the Call-In Show. Now, you might be asking, it's not the first Wednesday of the month. Yeah, I'm aware. The first Wednesday of the month, I believe we had a game on that Wednesday, or something was going on. No, it may not have even been a game. Something happened. Something happened that I couldn't do it, so I opted to push it. And now that it's international break, now that there's a little bit of a dry spell when it comes to content out there, figured why not bring it now? No better time than during international break to have a discussion with you guys in the chat to, I guess, discuss what's been going on with Chelsea recently. And if you read the title, I think that's going to give you a gist of what we're going to be talking about. Or if you have something else you want to bring to the table and discuss, maybe something we've said previously on a previous show, you're more than welcome to rebut that as well. But welcome to the show. Welcome to Casually FC. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe the channel. That way it helps us out tremendously. I'm here with Scott and Real Chris, and we'll start off with the, I guess, Gusto as a 10, right? So I have to look for the quotes, but I believe recently Maresca was asked about Malo Gusto's recent position and selection in the team, and his response was somewhat along the lines of having Gusto be the versatile inverted midfield that can play in attacking positions like a 10. So in recent games like United, in recent games like Arsenal, in Arsenal as well, we saw Malo Gusto get into those number 10 positions. I mean, Arsenal alone, we saw him miss that blatant header. Personally, me, and I have to find the quote. I will find the quote while we discuss it. But personally, me, as much as I do like this idea of having like another 10 in that midfield, Malo Gusto is the one that doesn't give me the most assurance. I don't think Malo Gusto's even scored a goal for us since he's joined the club as of 2 years ago. So for me, I just don't think Malo Gusto has a finishing bone in his body. And if we're going to be playing him or anyone in a number 10 position, I would hope that number 10 has the ability to have
We
finishing.
do have that guy. We have that guy.
Who's that guy, Chris?
And his name is Nkuku, who's a 10 and has the
Okay.
ability to finish.
This is true, but he's not a right back that can invert. I mean, Chris, what do you suggest in this situation? Because it seems
because I haven't
it seems like
seen his
Maresca's going to
quotes.
persist. I'll find it.
It's like
it seems like Maresca wants to persist with doing.
I'm trying to find the context in between that because, like, yeah, if he's playing from right back and he's inverting to the midfield, like, it's just he wants him being more attacking instead of just being more deeper into the midfield. So it's not like when I heard you say playing as a 10, I thought like he's going to be starting as a 10 or something. Like we're playing a back three where he plays a 10 and doesn't drop back or nothing. But yeah, like I don't know. I'd rather Reese James do it. I'll be real. Reese James can shoot better for sure. He can pass it better. He's better going forward than Gusto, I think. And his defensive work is pretty good, but I don't know if his legs can do that, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know how to make of that. Like, have to see, because Gusto's performance against the last few games for sure has been shocking going forward. Shocking. That United game was awful. Sure. That Arsenal game, he should have scored that goal. Neto did a really good cross, but yeah, you know, I still back Gusto. I think he's a good player, but I don't know what's happened to him this season. I do like him, but I think he needs benched. I don't know. I think he needs bench time, but it's dependent on how he wants to use Reese James this season anyway because of the injury. So I kind of understand it from that point of view as well.
Okay. I mean, Scott, what do you think about this idea that with Malo Gusto inverting, we're going to be, you know, it seems that Maresca wants to persist with Malo Gusto inverting and playing in that 10 position. I mean, I'm sure you agree that it's not been good enough. And this might be one of those situations where we finally find a disagreement with what Maresca's doing. Let's just say, our Ben Chilwell at left wing moment with Maresca. Maybe not as bad, but your thoughts?
Kind of. I think the problem with this whole Gusto thing is it's not even necessarily an issue with Gusto because, like, I think the issue comes from a couple of things. I think number one, it comes from the centre backs. We talked about it before, at least I have, that we have two centre backs that kind of can only really play one way, which necessitates the left back being the excuse me, the left back needing to be the third centre back basically, which works and I think is fine. But then I think if you're going to invert the right back, it needs to be James, which then comes back to like his health and he's just getting back to fitness. The thing with Gusto is it's not even just him inverting as a 10. Even when he inverted into midfield as part of the pivot earlier in the season, he was terrible then. So it's not just like a 10 thing, it's him just inverting in general isn't working. He's like the only fullback we've got that can't do it of the four we've got. So it's not great. I also think as well it kind of comes back to the midfield because like the reason why we changed it and now have one of the fullbacks inverting as the 10, because it was Cucurella obviously from like the Bournemouth game onwards, before it started being Gusto. The reason why is because of both Enzo and Lavia. We don't have anyone in midfield really who can do what Dewsbury Hall was doing last season for excuse me, for Leicester, where it's like they step out of the midfield, enter one of those 10 spots behind the striker, and you do it that way. We tried it with Enzo at the start of the season; it didn't work. We haven't really seen Lavia or Caicedo do it because I don't think that's their best position for either of them. So it needs to be one of the fullbacks. The only guy we've really got in the whole team I think could do it consistently to a level that people would be acceptable with is Carney, but he's clearly not in the manager's plans. Dewsbury Hall could maybe do it, but we haven't seen it so far in the limited time that he has played. So I think that's the thing. I think the whole Gusto thing is an unfortunate kind of casualty for the way our team is set up for this system. There are obviously ways around it. Like I know there's been talks of like you can put Palmer on the right and like have Gusto overlap and Palmer like drift into the 10 spot, which would work. You still have some issues because then that would mean Gusto would be in wide areas, needing to be able to beat his man on the dribble, which he can't. Have a good delivery, which we consistently saw last season. He didn't have that. We've seen this season. He doesn't have that either. So like, there's still issues there. But I think the biggest issue with that then is you then have 3 wingers on the bench when we have 4 wingers in total. Like one of Neto or Sancho would have to hold bench. You'd have to put Neto on the left, which I'm fine with, but people want to say that's not his best position. So again, like you're having to move so many pieces to like accommodate one piece. And it's like, as I said, I think it's just a case of like there are certain pieces in the team that don't quite fit, and it's just trying to put everything in a way that kind of fits with the imperfections that we've got in certain areas. Like as I said, I think if you had to, like, for example, if we had Bastoni and Tar as our centre-backs, say, I think you would see Cucurella inverting way more than Gusto. I think you'd have seen Gusto be the centre-back, or even James play a bit more, and he be the centre-back, the third centre-back in the 3, and Cucurella invert. Because that's what we did. Because now, because you had Palmer as like the right 10 rather than the left 10, as we're currently seeing. But like as I said, it's just different like holes that we've got in the team, I think is the reason for it.
Do you guys feel that one of the holes is what chat's talking about, pretty much the fact that this is only happening because we're babysitting Reese James, and maybe there are some people out there that obviously think that maybe we're babysitting him too much. Is that anything that you guys agree with?
Do you think it's babysitting though, since he's only been out for 1 game? Well, most of the Arsenal game, because the other games he started back-to-back 90 minutes without him being benched, like subbed off. I don't know if it's like being babied yet. Like I just don't think he wants to like keep playing him every single game until he breaks, because that'd be stupid, because he's one of our highest assets as a player. We just can't overdo it with him, but like we should have the trust in Gusto because we know how good he is ability wise. It's just like Scott said before as well, like he just can't invert. The way the manager just needs to tell Gusto maybe just to stay back and let Cucurella invert more, because Cucurella does a fantastic job doing that. But I think that's just on the manager at that point with this. Sorry, my dog's just been annoying.
You're fine.
But yeah, like
yeah. I agree with what Chris said. I think as well, like, it's not even a case of babying with Reese, number one, but also I think it's just a case of like the one thing that we can say Maresca's doing positively this season is the way he's handled the injuries. Like that has been a huge positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not really seeing guys get injured at all. Like I know you could say Lavia, but like Poch has broken that guy, by the way. That's a completely different discussion, but Poch has broken this guy. This guy went from having no injuries across an entire year to Poch getting his hands on him, being out a whole the entire season, and now he's had like 2 or 3 small injuries already. Poch has completely broken him. But yeah, like even with the centre backs, even like Fofana, he's managed to do that well. So I think it's not like a case of babying. I think it's just treating Reese with the necessary care that he needs if we want him to get back to what he not get back to his best, but like being able to play on a consistent basis to show us his best. Because like we saw last season when he came back, like he's always going to be Reese James, but it doesn't matter how good Reese James is if we're seeing him a quarter of the season because he constantly gets injured. That's no good to anyone. So I think what he's doing is good. The issue just comes is that his replacement, his backup, instead last season where his backup made it so there was an argument between who you would start, this season it's like Gusto is arguably our worst player this season. And as I said, I think a lot of it is like as well. If by the way, just on the babying thing, I don't think it's babying Reese. I think it's babying other players. Like I said, I think it's babying these centre backs, and it's babying kind of the midfielders in a way, like especially Enzo.
But I mean,
definitely agree when Enzo's on the field. He needs help.
When Enzo's on the field, I agree. But the part that kind of like makes me kind of want to push back with that on that a bit is the fact that like we're seeing this even the biggest culprit in terms of the games we've seen this in have been United and Arsenal, where we saw Malo Gusto in those attacking positions, and those are games where we had a shored up midfield, you would say, right? Much more controlled and much more defensively sound midfield in Lavia and Caicedo. So is it, and maybe I missed you when you said this, but is it something that babying maybe those guys because they're lacking something that Enzo could provide to the table, or is it something that all of our midfielders are lacking, or a balance issue? Like where do you feel you're at with that?
No, I don't think it's an issue with going forward. I think the thing is with Maresca, he has a specific shape on the ball in mind that he wants, which is a 3-2-5, 4-1 or a 3-2-5 on the ball. So ultimately what it comes down to is if you're going to have a double pivot, which is going to be the 2 midfielders. So let's say it's Caicedo and Lavia. That's going to be your double pivot, the 2 in that 3-2-5. Or it's going to be Caicedo and Enzo. That means that whereas normally, like for City, they do a 3-2-5, but the 2 is Rodri and a centre back. Like it'll be Rodri and a Stones or Rodri and a Kanji or something like that. So that means the 2 8s they have when they play a 4-3-3 or they start on paper, they go up and go into the 5. Where we have Palmer going to 5. You need one more person in that 5. That ends up being one of the fullbacks. We saw it earlier on in the season. It was Cucurella. He was linking up with Sancho. Now it is Gusto. I don't know why that changed. What caused the change, but it now has changed. And I think that's just what it is. It's like you need someone to occupy that 10 space, because otherwise you lack the numbers that Maresca wants. And so you can't really do it. The only other thing you could do, and I have seen this be mentioned, I don't even know if it would work, is do like start Caicedo at right back and have him invert into midfield. And then just like start like, I don't know, Enzo or something in midfield with Lavia or something or whatever, and go from there. Don't know if that would work. Like it might do, but Caicedo is not the one player in this team we should be moving. Yeah, I think so much of this has come back to the centre backs for me, and also just in terms of Gusto just needs to improve. Like it comes to a point where like as much problems as it causes everyone else, and there are ways to fix it. Like Gusto just needs to improve. You can't be this crap. You might be in a role and a system that doesn't quite suit you. Like that's the case for a few of these players. Like, not don't sit here and tell me that Mudryk, for example, is in a system that suits him and that like he was in good form or anything. He's still improved. He's got used to the system. Like, if he can, Gusto can.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Curry Pirate, you're parking the bus over here. Obviously,
you win an Arsenal badge.
Obviously, I want to hear what you have to say in terms of like this dilemma we have with Malo Gusto, and I'm still looking for the tweets. It happened early last week. I know there's Maresca quotes on it, but in terms of this idea of playing Gusto in the 10 position, where are you with that, and what are the solutions really that you think should be poised? Because I'm not gonna lie, I do. If there's ever a time to experiment with Moises Caicedo at right back, like Scott suggests, it's very. Is enticing the word I'm looking for? I think it is. I think it's enticing because that's one way you can at least have the three, Lavia, Enzo, and Moises on the pitch while still having that stability that you want from having the double pivot of Lavia and Caicedo. But then we have to see how it works for Moises.
I can't see that long term as well. Because of Reese James and Cucurella are really good fullbacks.
It's a lot of work, and you're asking Moises Caicedo to do a lot, but it could be a solution. I mean, I'm curious to hear what Curry Pie has to think about this whole dilemma. And by the way, anyone who is waiting for the link, I'll be dropping it very shortly. We're about to hit the 20-minute mark. That's when I drop the link for you guys in the community to come in and have your say. But go ahead, Curry Pirate. Talk to me. Park your bus.
First, I want to say I stand with Mikel. So McKellen, saying park the bus, man, park the Greyhound. Second,
I found it.
There's only a few options that can happen. Either Caicedo plays right back and then he inverts in, or Reese James needs to get better in terms of fitness and health, and he needs to play that advanced 10 role. There's no other way because he likes a box midfield. There's no way you're creating that box midfield any other way. There's no way you're creating that because, and the main reason Gusto's playing the 10 is because we have, like everyone wanted, Lavia and Caicedo. So that means Lavia and Caicedo are deep. Because before then, when Enzo is playing in that midfield, Enzo is the forward 8, and then Cucurella comes in with Caicedo and pairs up as like the deep players, or sometimes Enzo and Cucurella would interchange in position, and Cucurella would partner up with Sancho a bit. But that's the only way it's going to happen. If you want to continue playing Lavia and Caicedo together, either you play Caicedo as right back and he inverts in, or Reese James needs to start being fully fit, and we need to start giving him more work in terms of fitness and hard yards, and he needs to be the further forward one in Gusto's position.
Does anyone here think that it's just possible that Reese James just isn't I don't know if fit is the word I want to look for, but just... I
mean, it's been off for 2 years, so I think it's kind of expected. I know what you're saying, like, work on his fitness and all that, but we know it's going to take him probably like a few months to actually get to that fully fit state.
Well, not even that. Like,
the last 2 years have been so miserable and like bad for Reese. Like,
but what I'm trying to get at is that, like, for example, we know that there aren't that many players out there that have the reserves of energy to do what Mason Mount and Gallagher do for a whole 90 minutes in terms of like how they go about pressing, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying how they go about pressing. Like, not every player can do that. Is it possible that maybe...
that player can do it, though.
Yeah, I think so. But that's not the point I'm getting at. What I'm trying to get at is that Malo Gusto, to me, is a player that can go for 120 minutes.
Yeah,
and he can do that consistently, because I feel like in terms of like stamina and endurance, like he's that type of player. Kind of how like Chilwell is another player that can do it well when fit, right? Wow. That can has a lot of endurance in him. is it possible that just Reese James just isn't capable of doing the amount of work asked of for that position, that inverting role, and that's why he's not getting
It's
picked?
hard to say because under Tuchel, before like the big injuries and all that, I would say yes, he could do it. But
Okay.
after the last two big the massive like hamstring injuries, the surgeries and all that, I don't know. I don't know if it's took like out of his legs. He just can't do it as frequently. I just don't know. I know these type of injuries can like take a lot out of the player. I know Chilwell's from the same injury, but look at Chilwell now after the injury. Like he's not even like quarter of the player he used to be. I don't think. But
100%.
yeah, I honestly don't know because Reece James this season for me is just see him get fit and see what he can do after like this season and see if I have no idea to be honest if he can do it for like 120 minutes, but I know he can do it for 100. I know he can do it for 90 at least because we've seen it already this season and he just came back from his injury, so I think he maybe can do the 120, just not this season maybe if he's required to.
Yeah, but like that's the thing though. Like this role, this inverting role, is a lot more than just being your standard wing back or your standard full wait, what am I? Wing back or full back.
He's literally just you have to go up to attack to their box.
You have to defend. You have to come back. Like it's not as.
He's not
easy.
the fastest player either, Reece.
I'm not gonna say it's easy either. It's definitely not easy, but like it's definitely one of those positions that it's gonna require you to be a lot more involved than just staying on the wing the whole time, right, and overlapping. So I mean, I don't know. To me, in my head, my personal opinion, I have a feeling that this is going to be a persistent issue. That I just listen. I could be proven wrong. I don't think Reece James is capable of doing the inverting fullback role, even if fully fit. Even if fully fit, I just don't think he's capable of. I don't think it's the technique. I don't think it's the ability of the player. I think it's the actual like.
Legs.
The legs and the physical toll it takes to do it.
Yeah.
And I think you look at someone like Cucurella, even when he's not inverting, is a workhorse. Like he's doing what he does on the pitch at his best. Let's say, for example, the Dortmund game under Graham Potter. At his best, when he's just playing fullback, he's doing that from minute 1 to minute 90. And it's like
so aggressive.
He's just a workhorse. He has an engine in him. And Malo Gusto, I feel like, is that similar type of profile that he has that engine. I don't think Reece James has that engine in him. And that's not a fault of his own. It's just the type of player he is. I mean,
then he needs to get out.
Well, okay, hold on. I don't think that's
no.
I don't think that's the
get
case
just
either.
because a player can't run up and down the field doesn't mean you can. Like then we may as well keep Gallagher, right?
No.
Yeah, because Gallagher can do that.
Do this nonsense,
No,
man.
it's not nonsense.
No, but like, okay, you're Curry. I feel like you're taking it to the extreme because, like,
so
I could
extreme.
say I could say this for Lavia, right? Like, Lavia, you
can't
have
do it.
all the defensive attributes, but you don't have the attacking ability. We haven't seen it. We don't have the through ball passes, the cutting edge.
We're talking about fitness and being able to do the job. And if Lavia can't do the job either, then he can fuck right off because availability is the best ability. I want.
But no. You're okay. This is what I was afraid of. Like, you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's fitness. I'm just saying it's the body's capability to do that type of work for 90 minutes. And I just don't think
do it for 90 minutes. That's the whole point.
My problem is he ain't got the pace for
do
it.
it for 60, 70, and we have Malo Gusto come in, my guy. Why is that's the whole point of depth, no? That's what I'm saying. He can do 60 to 70 minutes. I expect.
So what does he get him out there?
Like, I expect that. That's what I'm saying. He can't even do 60, 70 minutes. That's why I want him out. We can't have these players who are great players in general, but cannot fit into the system and can't be healthy enough to play at least 60 to 70 minutes of what the manager wants from him. Then he's fucking useless.
I mean, he was shown in the United game when he went onto the right side when Gusto came off at halftime, was it? And yeah, Cucurella and Reece was like switching from inverting because they were both inverting at times.
Yeah, they were both,
He can do it. It's just like one as well. He isn't the quickest player. So if he goes up to a 10 and they get countered, he ain't coming back quick enough. There's no way. But I believe he can do it for 90 minutes. It's just like saying 120 minutes is might be asking a lot for Reese
Why are we
James.
seeing
Well, yeah,
100
that's just an
why
extreme
did-
example.
Yeah,
the
no,
only-
'cause he's a- yeah.
the only reason I said
I
that
think
is
he's good for
because
90
I'm just trying to show that there's like certain players that have traits that, for example, Malo Gusto is the type of player that he can give you what he gives you from minute 1 all the way up until minute 120. I just don't think Reese is ever capable of being that kind of player.
That's the whole point of substitutions with players in football,
Yeah.
anyways. That's why we don't have all 11 players starting and ending a fucking game.
Mhm.
What are we doing with this 120? Even during if these people
Nah, it's
play
just-
till
I
90,
gotta
even
stick my head
120
up
people get
there.
subbed. Why are we doing this random weird example of Malagusta has an engine? Cool story, bro. You played 120 minutes, my guy. Okay,
What?
cool.
I didn't hear that last part, but
No, I heard it. It's just
I,
it's just a
anyway, it doesn't even matter because like
isolated example.
say Cucurella and Reese James are playing on the right and left, they'll both be switching on and off. I think inverting because they're both good at, and then it gives the other team to think, like which side are they going to be playing from, the right or left, like inverting wise and helping them midfield.
Well, with Malo Gusto, it has to be right. I don't want to see him on the left again,
Yeah, I don't wanna
especially
see
if
him
you're
on the
asking.
left.
Oh
him to
no,
invert.
no, yeah, no.
You have
I just think
Cucurella there. That's
I
perfectly
thought it
usable.
was Cucurella.
Vega, like you have Cucurella and
Yeah.
Vega that are perfectly capable of managing that role on the left side. Like there's no need to ask Malo Gusto to do that on the left when he's barely doing it on the right. And here are the quotes, by the way, from Enzo Maresca saying he explains why he's going to continue. So this isn't going to change. This is why I'm bringing up this topic, right? He's going to continue to play Gusto as a 10. So he says, we think that Malo, there playing as a 10, we can cause problems to the opponent. He's doing fantastic. Malo is helping us a lot in terms of process because he is playing as a holding midfielder. He's playing in the pocket. He's playing at some moments as a central midfield. For sure, Malo is doing well, and he is going to continue in that way. Now, obviously, the reason I brought this up too is because maybe I'm by my... And the reason I keep saying, like, I don't think Reese can do the job is because even in preseason, and mind you, it is early days... Even in preseason, I think there was multiple games where I saw Reese struggle to do the inverting part of this job. And defensively, like I felt like he was a liability because he was struggling to do that. It could be fitness,
No, you're right.
or it could be just the player not being able to do that role. Much like in FIFA, there are certain players that you put in certain roles and they just can't do it as well as players who are familiar with that role. And some people have it in them and some people don't, which is why I bring up the topic of, like, is it a Reese James fitness issue or is it a Reese James incompetent issue?
Hard to say.
And if it is an incompetent issue, go ahead, Scott.
It's a fitness thing for me. Like, we've already seen him be able to do the, like, the thing that I need Reese to be able to do is the stuff that, like, in the final third, which we already know Reese can do because we've seen him do it under Tuchel.
100%.
Like when we had the fullback or the wingback, sorry, under Tuchel, they used to invert all the time. Like they used to underlap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got so many chances and so many goals. It was because they used to underlap, and it was normally the 2 10s or 2 wingers or whatever it was that would supply the width, especially if you had guys like Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic or Werner playing. They'd normally supply the width, and it would be the wingbacks underlapping. So like that doesn't bother me. Like, and doesn't. I'm not worried about that. I know he can do it. I have no doubt in my mind about that. We've even seen it this season, like in the league. Like since he's come back into the team, we've already seen that he has done some of the inverting, especially in attacking areas, and looks good. His delivery is so much better than Gusto's, and his positioning, everything is so much better. We've seen that he can do it. It's just a fitness thing, and like I agree with what CP said earlier. Like he just has to be able to do that for 60, 70 minutes a match. Then you can bring Gusto on. Like that, I'm fine with doing that because 60, 70 minutes of Reese James being able to do that at the highest level, which I think he can, is way better than anything we're getting from Gusto now. It's even way better than anything we could get from Gusto, full stop. By the way, just on a complete side note, this whole thing Maresca, where he keeps defending players in the press conference, needs to fucking end. Like, it's getting on my tits. Like,
well,
I appreciate. One of the things I appreciated from him was his honesty at the start of the season. I now don't need you to start doing the ego thing of like, oh, I've got to placate everyone. Like, if someone's playing badly, just say it. You said that with You said it with Mudryk. You were more than happy to say Mudryk wasn't doing what you expected him to do at times in this season. Don't sit here and tell me that Gusto's been good and he's doing well. He's been shit the whole season. Like, I don't need you to tell me he's
What's
doing
happening?
well.
Actually, just thinks that though.
If he thinks that, then I'm worried, because that means he thinks that about Sanchez as well.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
God, yeah.
we
Oh, my
see
God.
that. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe what he's saying about Sanchez. I think he's just saving face because, hopefully in
He did
January
pick
we
him
get
as well.
something. And he did put a lot of chest out for him, but go ahead, Curry.
I was saying, I think I know Vic was saying, yes, move your best midfielder to right back, but he inverts into the midfield. That's the whole fucking point. Right?
Also,
wanna-
Vic,
wanna
this
try
isn't
that.
true, by the way. Reese James was playing the preseason up until Inter, where he got hurt at minute 61, and that was our last game of the preseason. So
Wow.
he played pretty much
You
every
need a
single
minute dead on?
preseason game. Yeah, 61. That was Maresca's quote. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, Reese
thinking,
James
why do
played
you know
pretty
that
much
off by
every
heart?
game. And Reese James played every game in the preseason,
He did,
and he
yeah.
got hurt in the last one. So,
But I was saying, I think we should try this whole Caicedo right back inverting thing during the stretch. What I mean is
Yeah.
we're playing Leicester. Try it then.
not a bad
Try
shot
it
at
then.
all.
Like, if we want to try it and see how it works and how it looks and how the players will feel about it, it's perfect to do it against relegation fodder. Do it against them. Do it against, I think we're playing Ipswich after Aston Villa or one of the relegation teams. Do it against them as
Ipswich
well.
can give a good game, though, can't they?
Sorry?
Ipswich can't. They can give a good game to the big teams this season. I'm a little bit worried about that one.
Not really. They just got
Not
one decent
really.
game just for relegation fodder. Let's come on.
I'm pretty
Chris,
sure they got
won
points
the-
against, was it Arsenal? And they almost got a draw against Liverpool as well.
Yeah,
But
almost. It didn't happen.
I know, but I watched the game. It was pretty close in that one.
Tottenham was their first victory this season.
The entire season.
Yeah,
The entire
Tottenham, who were like top 6, aren't they?
No, they're
No,
not. They're literally
they're
10th
not.
place.
Are they really? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, in all fairness, this points between like
The
14.
table is close, I get you, but
Yeah.
still,
But
regardless.
I'm saying, like, if you want to try this shit, this experimental shit, try it against the lesser teams.
Yeah,
We have a good stretch too. If let's say they play well, the system works. We're playing like Fulham and these men after. Fucking try it then. Then we got like a straight up midfield. You can pack the midfield. You got a guy, and he's played right back for Brighton before for some games against big teams
Yeah.
like Arsenal, and he was man of the match then.
Not to say that, like, obviously these games are going to be easy. They're obviously not, but they're going to be more forgiving to do these types of things versus an Arsenal or like a City, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. But I mean, since we're bringing up the topic of the midfield, I did want to bring up this other one that goes into the next thing we're going to say, right? So Enzo Maresca on why Lavia and Caicedo are started ahead of Enzo Fernandez at the moment. And these are quotes that came out on the 15th. So it's a matter of balance. Romeo and Moy give us physicality and strength in the middle. This is why we found the option of Malo Gusto in the pocket. Otherwise, when we play with Enzo, it has to be one of Moy or Romeo. And Enzo moves forward, we struggle in the middle for physicality. At the moment, that's something Moy and Romeo give us, but it doesn't mean for one game we don't play with Felix and Palmer in the pocket. It depends on the game. So it's going to vary from game to game. But right now, there's a bit of an injury scare going on with Lavia. We don't know if he's going to be fit for Leicester, meaning very likely that we're going to go with a Caicedo-Enzo pivot into that game. And that's also somewhat questionable considering they're going to be returning from international break, I believe, today or yesterday. Today. I think they're returning from international break today. And then so they're flying out today, arriving tomorrow. They have one day to really train, jet lag and all that stuff. Friday, and then the game's on Saturday, early kickoff. So that's also up in the air in terms of will they be available, and if they will be available, how well will they play considering the schedules there. So it's a bit of a scare, but with Lavia potentially being injured, CP, I guess I'll go to you first. What concerns do you have now going forward with it's not going to be a hard schedule, but we do have Villa, we do have Spurs, some difficult matches there that we probably want to get 3 points out of. How do you feel about that with Lavia potentially being out for a bit with some hamstring issues?
To be honest, majority of games I'm not too concerned about it. Leicester, Enzo should be easily able to cut up. Villa, I am nervous about just because of physicality, as Mariska's pointed out. Again, Tottenham, we should be carving them apart with Enzo. Those long balls, you're telling me Pedro Neto, a more clinical striker in Jackson this season, and Palmer with all that space? Fuck yeah. And we got Sancho in those pockets. Yeah, dude, give that to me. Like, we shouldn't be struggling with the majority of these teams. Maybe Everton again with physicality, but we have Ipswich. We're playing Bournemouth. Like we should be fine. Like there should be enough recovery time. Like we're playing Southampton. It's Leicester, then it's Villa. Okay, we might struggle in terms of physicality if we don't have Lavia. We're playing Southampton. We should carve them up. Tottenham, we should carve them up. Brentford, I can kind of get, but we should be doing our job. Everton, I get again physicality, but then we should carve up Fulham and Ipswich. Like until December 30th, we should be fine for majority of games without Lavia.
You, Chris or Scott, do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, like we've been sort of broken toy at this
20
point now.
points.
Oh, in the games.
Between now and Ipswich, who we play on the 30th of December, I expect 20 points. I expect no losses. The only games I expect us to drop points in are Villa. That's when every single one, apart from draws against Villa and Everton, are the only two acceptable results I'll take.
So
every other game between now and Ipswich, we should be winning.
So 20 out of 24,
we need to get
20 out of 24.
now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we are third place.
That's the bare minimum.
Like we should beat Leicester. We should beat them. I'll accept a draw against Villa, although we can beat them. We should beat Southampton. We should beat Tottenham. We should beat Brentford. We should beat. I'll accept a draw against Everton because we always draw them. Like we can't beat them at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
We should beat Fulham and we should beat Ipswich.
Yep.
I mean,
and like when it comes to midfield as well, like I could actually see Dewsbury Hall maybe starting at the weekend, and like Enzo coming off the bench, especially if the situation is as it is in terms of them getting back today or tomorrow, whenever it is, and it being an early kickoff as well. But yeah, in terms of midfield, I kind of agree with what CP said in terms of like outside of like Everton and Villa and maybe Brentford, Enzo can play in all the other games because the games will be open, the midfields won't be as physical, so you can afford to kind of you can afford the kind of limitations he gives you defensively and physically, because the other teams like Southampton, we should be fine. Like they won't have Leslie. Like their midfield isn't great. Villa's obviously Onana will be there. He should not start that game. Like come off the bench if need be. He should not start that game. Leicester
is Onana injured or something?
No, I don't. Look, bro, Onana's fit. I'm saying I don't want him playing in that game.
Okay.
He should not start.
Yeah, I would put Vega in the
pitch, yeah, like Onana will eat him alive. Excuse me. Yeah, like even though Tottenham's midfield is kind of physical, if they play one as Sarr or Basuma or both, their high line is that's begging for an Enzo Frugal. And then, like I said, Brentford is maybe a weird one, and Everton I wouldn't play. But outside of that, like he should be able to play in these midfields. Because the thing is, as well, is why I'm not worried is like it just comes back to the depth thing. If our depth is so good, like if Enzo is meant to be as good as our fan base thinks he is, he should be fine in these games. If he's not, that's an indictment on him as a player, and it just furthers the idea that he should leave as soon as possible.
Oh wow, you're on that train too, huh?
Oh yeah, I'd sell him in the summer guaranteed, but there's multiple reasons. I wanted Santos to come back, but like the thing is like this season for him is make or break.
Yeah,
he had half a season where he was good, and he had a season where he was crap. But you could allow the season where he was crap because of extenuating circumstances. This season, there's no extenuating circumstances. We've kind of discussed this to death, but he's playing in a system that suits him. He's playing next to like the best midfielder in the league currently when he plays. He's not even like with the way things are shaping up as well. in terms of the way we play. He's not even having to do the number 10 stuff anywhere near as much, and he still looks like shit in some games.
Last few couple
like,
games, he's been looking solid there.
Yeah, he looked good when he came against Arsenal, but I mean, like, you look at the Newcastle game, for example, in the cup. He played in the pivot.
Yeah, he was poor
terrible.
I agree. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, so that's why I say it's make or break. So if he doesn't perform against your Leicesters, Southamptons, your, you know, Fulhams, if he doesn't perform against these guys, what is the point of him in this team?
I hear you on selling him if we get another midfielder, because I don't know about the Santos still in the Premier League. I think he'd be a good backup, by the way, but also with Lavia, with the injuries, and I don't know how he's going to turn out either. And yeah, if he performs poor this season, I somewhat agree anyway, because he hasn't really done much, has he, then, this season. And I don't know if he suits Maresca's system as well that well, because in the pivot, he's not exactly the greatest. He's more attacking 8, I would say, or box to box at least.
No, I disagree. I think he suits this system perfectly.
You
But
think?
like, what we're talking about Enzo here.
Yeah, because in the
he suits
midfield
this system
of 2,
perfectly.
because I feel like he leaves Caicedo a bit exposed at times because he likes to go forward, or he hasn't got the pace to come back, or his defensive ability isn't as good to help Caicedo out. Sorry. That's why I feel like a midfield of 2 is it's a bit risky with Enzo sometimes, especially in the big games. That's why you need maybe to play Lavia.
No, I think he works in this team. I think he's played in a double pivot. He plays in a double pivot for both country and the club before he joined us. So like, I have no issues there.
I think midfield 3, don't they? Normally.
No, when they won the World Cup, he was playing in a midfield 2. They played a 4-4-2.
I swear they played in the World Cup a 4-3-3 basically.
No, they played a 4-4-2.
Wasn't it the Paul Enzo and Messi as a 10?
No, it was.
it?
Well, I don't know who were the 10 were. Like, they played a double pivot of him and DePaul most of the time. They had McAllister playing as like one of the wide midfielders, I think, at times, because they had Messi up front.
Yeah, like they had Saudi Arabia in that group competition. They lost to him or something ridiculous, and they played Enzo. I swear it's a midfield 3.
Enzo didn't play in Saudi Arabia. If he did, he came off the bench.
No, he didn't.
No. When they lost to Saudi Arabia, then they started playing Enzo after that game. I meant.
Yeah, and they played a double pivot.
Was it? I swear it's a midfield 3.
But at least nowadays they've been playing a midfield 3 for the past year, though.
Yeah, okay. Recently, I've noticed they play more of a
They've been
pivot.
playing midfield 3 with McAllister, DePaul, and Enzo.
I just haven't really been watching. I've just seen the lineup. That's it, really, mainly. I don't like watching international breaks where they mean not much. It's suffering.
Let me actually look this up real quick. Argentina.
Yeah, what you do is like I think Enzo will be fine, but like just going back to the selling him, yeah, I would like Santos for me is just a guarantee in terms of like he's been so good. Like he's arguably the best midfielder in France currently, and we already know like the ratio in terms of going from France to it's fairly high. So yes, like he starts.
Go to the next game. Anyway.
Not necessarily starts, but comes into the team.
I guess my lineup when I looked at it just tricked me a little bit.
Just
hang
it.
Yeah, when he played France in the World Cup, it was a midfield 3.
Oh really? Come on now.
Yeah, when they played France in the World Cup, it was a midfield 3. That's for sure. I just checked.
Yeah, I swear I've seen it a couple times at least.
No, you're not wrong.
I just don't remember the third one. In all fairness, that's why I'm a bit unsure.
This is way too far back. Oops.
Marshall going back to 1997.
I went back to 2002.
22, you're 21.
Here
we go. World Cup. There you go.
So let's say, for example, during the round of 16. Round of 16.
It was a midfield 3. They switched to midfield 3 after.
Oh yeah, McAllister.
Yeah,
that's
McAllister's
right.
the third wheel.
So I guess Messi was more like a false 9.
Oh yeah, he was like middle. And
or
then you had, like,
a 10 actually, and it was 4-4-2, just like Scott said.
Wow, so, no, because you had the 3 midfield. Those 3 are 3 centre mids, though, right?
It was like a 4-3-1-2.
I feel like it's a Messi centre forward and those 2 like inside forwards, but
no, because Alvarez was there. So
yeah,
Alvarez and Papu Gomez were
I'm sure they played
strikers.
I'm 100% certain they played. I'm 100% certain they played a 4-4-2, and they had McAllister as one of the wide midfielders.
Maybe he did push it aside. I don't know, like.
Yeah, because
I
remember
watched a few
McAllister
of their
was a big
games.
part of that team.
I remember watching a few of them, especially obviously the France one. But
Yeah,
I watched Saudi Arabia one where they got their asses kicked. That was a shock. That was the first game of the World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, but then after that, they turned it around completely.
Yeah, because they subbed on Enzo. Well, they changed the midfield.
Well, yeah.
And we thought we was getting an absolute unreal midfielder, and it's a bit up and down.
Well, I mean, why does it keep going back to 2014? Jesus Christ, dude. It goes back so far.
I think I get it now. It's
okay. Yeah.
I remember seeing midfield 3 a lot.
Yeah, even Paredes was here.
Well, they used to switch, but to be honest, it basically was Enzo, McAllister, and DePaul in the midfield, no matter what, in some sort of way.
That's
Those
like a midfield.
Together.
Yeah, like that's like 4 centimeters, isn't it?
Then sometimes they used to have 4, sometimes they used to be them 3, but it used to be 3 at the very least.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to an extent, like, we were talking about the fixtures, right? And actually, let me actually go back to the fixtures. I get where you guys are coming from, because I also want to confidently say that we should be able to beat all those teams. But I am worried that some of these teams could cause issues, right? And let me actually go over some of these teams with you guys.
Oh.
Oh, it's Curry. Here, I'll go over it with you guys, and I mean, you can tell me what you think, obviously. So Leicester, for example, I think that should be a win. That I think there shouldn't be any issues with that, even if it is Enzo, right? And again, we don't know how long Lavia's out for. There's a possibility he gets re-injured. It seems like he could be fit for this game, but we don't know.
You don't want to throw straight back in there.
We know how Enzo Maresca is. We know he's more conservative.
Sorry, Marshall. Also, Fatawu, their winger, and Buena Note are both out for this game. They got released today.
Okay, gotcha. I still think shouldn't be any issue, right? So, Villa, I could see us dropping points, but at the same time, like, we should be able to win. Like, I'm like 70% certain we can win this one, right?
We're at home as well.
Yeah, we're at home, and at home we're not too shabby. By the way, ladies and gents, the pinned link above is the StreamYard link to join us in this conversation and have your say of what you've been thinking about Chelsea in recent time, even with the recent news and all that stuff. Or we could just talk about whatever you feel like talking about. So if you do want to join in the conversation, the link is pinned to the top. This is the call-in show, so come in and have your say. The other thing I was going to say, Southampton, that should be a win as well. I'm not worried about this. Tottenham, I'm pretty much not worried about this.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty much not worried about this. They don't have Van der Ven. They've not been in great form. They've been very, very patchy form.
Wait, is Benacer stopped? Because I heard he was doing some...
Bentancur is suspended. I think Romero might be
suspended
injured
for a while.
That was wild.
Oh, wow. Romero being injured that's a big one for them, even though he hasn't been playing well either. Best. Like, with Tottenham, it's been mostly a midfield and defensive issue with them. They've just not been good defensively. I think they create enough chances. They're going to create chances against us. Whether they're clinical enough, if Solanke wants to show up on that day, if Heung-min Son is available and he shows up on that day, like, you know, there's a chance we concede. But
I mean, Brennan Johnson's been pretty good for him, man. He's pretty quick.
He had a purple patch. He's been quiet in recent games. So, I mean, but he could turn up too. You never know. You never know. But, like, in terms of, like, us scoring against them, I'm sure we'll outscore them.
It's his pace I worry about. He's very quick. And
Brentford is one that I could see us slipping up because Mbeumo has been having a very, very quiet season in terms of no one's been really paying attention to what he's been doing. He's been having a phenomenal season. But obviously he's in Brentford, so no one's going to really give too much attention to Mbeumo. But Brian Mbeumo has been phenomenal there, and he could have a game against us. Weiss is another one too that's been looking pretty good with Brian Mbeumo, and this is without a Solanke, right? Actually, not Solanke. No Ivan Toney. Yeah. You know, there's Thomas Frank is just making it work, and they've not been doing too bad in the table, but I feel like this could be a banana peel. Like, I feel like this could potentially be a draw. It's just something in me is telling me, like, I could see Chelsea drawing this game and not showing up. Right?
Yeah, they got 16 points.
Everton, It is at Everton, but I feel like Everton could be had at. Fulham is another one too where I'm actually kind of worried because Fulham is not bad. And when you see Fulham against Man City earlier this season, Fulham could have won. Fulham could have won. And I think most of us on this panel would say Man City is a better team than us. So if my logic is logicking, I'm thinking like Fulham could beat us. I'm actually kind of nervous Fulham could have at us. And then Ipswich should be a win. But the two that I'm worried about is Brentford and Fulham. Like,
I'm more worried about Fulham over Brentford. I think we'll still beat Brentford, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Fulham
more worried about Brentford.
Really?
Of the two, if you had to twist my arm, I'd be more worried about Brentford. But like, we should be beating both of these teams. Like,
we should be, yeah.
If again, this comes back to just like perception and about where we want to be, right? If we are as good as we think we are, and we want to be where we want to be, we have to beat these teams. Like, I can accept dropping points to Villa. I can accept dropping points to Everton away because we don't win there. Even Brentford, right? I could maybe be convinced because, like, I think Andrew said on a stream I was on earlier that like we haven't beaten Brentford at home. Like, we can't seem to beat Brentford at home. They seem to be a bogey team. But like Fulham, like we should smash them. I don't care. Like I do not care. Like we should beat them. Same with Ipswich. Like I'm sorry, but like we need to beat these teams.
Oh yeah, definitely Ipswich.
Like Villa beats these teams, and that's who we're competing with. Arsenal beats these teams most of the time. That's who we're competing with. United right now, with their new manager, probably beat some of these teams. That's who we're competing with. So we need to beat these teams to stay above them.
Yeah, no, I get that. This is the time that we need to take advantage of these fixtures, right? Because they're very, very winnable fixtures. We do have our first caller in here, so big up to Shazad. What's going on, my friend? Welcome to the channel. How you doing, my friend?
Not bad. Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for calling in. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I always watch the show almost whenever it's on. I really love this. I really love his channel. I was going to say, basically, all the games that we've got coming up, I think with the upper to the end of December, I think the only game that we won't win is the Aston Villa one, because Aston Villa beat us last season. I think it was twice or once at least. They beat us once, and then once, yeah. And they're going to be the team that's going to be the most difficult out of the December fixtures that we might drop points against. But the rest of them, up until December, we should be winning them. Even Everton, yeah, I know we they're our bogey team, but if we get a draw there, that won't be too bad. But I think we still could win that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the reason I bring it up, right, is because I feel like that United game really, really humbled me, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I kind of see a future where if we were to drop any points whatsoever, if we don't go on a perfect run, because that's what we're asking, right? If we can accept a draw to Villa, I think most of us on here are expecting a win against Spurs. So then from there on out, we're expecting a perfect run up until we get to that Crystal Palace game where we run the fixtures back, right? So I guess with me, I'm kind of tampering my expectations because I don't want to say I expect this, even though I do have high expectations, right? But I'm reasonable. I don't want to say I expect this many points, WWWW, and then be disappointed when maybe there's a banana slip here and there, and it's like, okay, now woe is me, Maresca out, oh, the season's over, we lost against Brentford, we lost against Fulham, or drop points against Fulham, title race, whatever, yada yada. You know what I'm trying to get at?
I know what you mean, but I reckon we're gonna do all right at the end of it. At the end of come first January, we're gonna be all right. I think we'll be up there, still in the top four, maybe third, if not third, fourth. Probably be in the top four. The other thing I wanted to say was, most people when I watch your show, even on other streams, almost everyone doesn't have much hope in Mudryk. As in, they're saying that he's one of our worst players. He's one of our worst performers so far. But what I want to say is that Mudryk, right? There's a real good player in there. Some people are slow starters, right? And that guy is a slow starter, and we are so quick to jump on a player when he's not performing straight away, or like Palmer has to. Like Palmer started off really well, but Mudryk, I think he's going to grow into a really, really top player. And if we ever sell him, it's going to be the same as what happened to De Bruyne. He went somewhere else, and he really, really became a really top player. I think that's with Mudryk. I want to speak about Estal. So I want to say Estal. I think Estal is a really good player. When he comes to us, I think the one thing about Estal, he might end up being a big game player. Like Cole Palmer is a good player, but Cole Palmer doesn't play that good in the big games. But I think Estal is a bit different. I think Estal could be that guy. Even with a slow start, I think he's going to be that kind of guy that might even be a big game player. Like we need one of our top players to be that guy in the big games. I think Estal might be that. Given once he gets going, once he has a season or so under his belt, or a season and a half, maybe a couple of seasons, I think he'll be one of our big game players. And we desperately need that. We need players to step up in the big games, because that's where we're not very good, and we're not being rated by the other club fans and stuff like that.
So I have my thoughts on this, but for this one, I'm going to bring the South American expert in for this one. So big up our RSM, who's been watching the qualifiers. So let's bring in RSM.
Big up.
I'll have you have your say on Estal, because I think you've been paying attention to Kendry Paez and Estal these past few weeks in international breaks. So I'll let you speak on him. Shahzad, if you don't mind, when you're not speaking, can you just mute, because there's a lot of background noise coming out from the echo. But RSM, tell me about Estal, man. What do you think about Shahzad's expectations here? Do you think it's too much?
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good one.
Big up.
Shout out everybody as usual. But yeah, for me personally, Estal, I mean, I think he's a top player. He's a top talent. As for showing up in the big games, again, like, I think that it's too early to say. I think for Palmeiras, he's in a very, very comfortable position. When I watch him play, he has an understanding with the teammates. He has the full backing of the team. He has the full backing of the coach. He feels very comfortable. Obviously, we know, like, it is going to be a big jump for him to come into the Prem, especially going into, obviously, it's a complete new place from him. He's not going to have many people that he knows, if any at all. A new language, like I do, and he's a kid. Like, we have to remember, he's a kid. In terms of being a big game player, I think it's very early in his career to say that. I think his performances for Brazil have been decent, but you can kind of tell that, playing for Brazil kind of, gets into his head a bit, which is fine. He's literally a kid. I mean, Neymar wasn't playing for the national team at 17. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody had their moment of introduction, and Neymar's moment of introduction into Brazil was when Brazil won the Olympic Games, when they won the gold medal. But by that point in his career, like, he wasn't a teenager anymore, like he was a lot more of an adult. Estal still has a lot of growing to do, but I do think he's going to be a top talent. I don't have any doubt about that. I really, really, really do think that in terms of Estal, I think it's going to be a smart purchase. I think it's going to be one of those things where people are going to be like, how did we let Chelsea get away with this? I really do. Like, I rate him that highly. Yeah.
That's interesting too, because there's a lot of people, and Shahzad, I see you want to say something, so just 1 second. There's a lot of people that tout that, and this could be or could be not true. A lot of outlets saying that we prioritize this guy over Olise, and we all know Olise is like a big signing. Like, I really wanted Olise at the club. Yeah, like, he is going to potentially be one of the best right wingers in the game. I can see it. Like, he's super talented, and we see now Crystal Palace without Olise how far they have dropped off. Like, we're talking, they're in a relegation battle right now. It's insane to see how much Olise impacted that team with Eze, right? But that I think even puts more onus on the importance of Estal Willian and how much of a hype that is. But Shahzad, you wanted to say something in reply to that?
No, basically, like I said, there's hype with Estal, but I mean, I think everybody knows that he's a top player, and but whether he starts straight away, as in he starts off on like a house on fire, I don't think. I think it'll start slowly, because he needs to get used to the league, and then we're going to see, after at least a couple of seasons, we're going to see the best, because he's still quite young yet, so we're going to give him at least a season or so before he hits when he starts getting towards his peak, then we're gonna know how really good he is. The other thing I wanted to say was, up front we got Jackson, right? He's a good striker, but he's not a killer. We need someone like a killer striker, like someone like Gyökeres. I think right now Gyökeres is almost as good, if not better, than Haaland. Even he's on his level. Gyökeres is on the Haaland's level. Every tournament, whether it's Sporting, playing for Sporting Lisbon, whether it's national team, whether it's in Europe, wherever he plays, whichever tournament he plays in, he's always doing well. He's scoring goals, and we need a player like that, a really killer in front of goal. I think Osimhen will sell more shirts because he's a bigger name. Like Gyökeres, I think overall Gyökeres, he just the numbers are there. It's just too hard to look past. And I know it's a weaker league. Sporting Lisbon is Sporting Lisbon it's there in the Portuguese league, but at the end of the day, he's still banging in the goals. But whether it's the national team, whether it's whether it's Europe, he's still, the way he's playing. I mean, I'm thinking Man United might get him because of Amorim.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I really want us to hijack that move. If Man United try to get him, I want us to hijack it. But I'm not really sure whether we'll be able to pull this one off. I know we've been pulling off a lot of big signings, but there's going to come a couple of signings where we're not going to be able to hijack it. It's just going to flop. I mean, but I really do hope that Gyökeres comes to us. I mean, we get him, or we try and get him, because we need a killer up front. That would make a big difference in our up front, because Jackson, as good as he is, he's not elite. His numbers are not as great as the world-class strikers are. He's not world-class. So
I mean, I get that. Obviously, I want to chip in on that, but I want to bring into the conversation another caller we just got here. Lil C, welcome, my friend, to the channel. How are you? Hopefully you're well. What do you got to say, my man? How you been? What's going on? What's on your mind, and what do you think of the this Jackson analysis?
I'm a Jamaican, so
Okay.
I think Chelsea need a killer, real killer. Cause Jackson, he missed too much chance, and the farmhead girls, he may not be the right person for Chelsea right now. A person lethal up front, we can score all types of goals. I feel Jackson, him not lethal, him not clinical enough to take away to a trophy or a major honor. So is either Gyökeres or Osimhen. Any one of them, I take any one of them.
I'm a little bit confused.
Talk to me, Chris.
Because I understand one another striker, by the way. I agree. I want a Gyökeres or Osimhen, but saying Jackson's missing chances this season or not being elite, I think Jackson this season's been one of the top strikers in the Premier League. I'm not saying he's the best striker, but Jackson, if you compare him to last season, yeah, cool. I was frustrated with Jackson a lot last season. He was missing a lot of chances, but this season he's barely missed a lot of chances. He's had barely as much chances as he normally gets too, but he's been putting away most of the chances he's had. Like the Liverpool game, he had like one chance. That West Ham game, he had like 4 chances or 3 chances. He put how many scored that day? 3, 2.
2.
And like even that Man United game, I don't think he had any chances that game either. But or Arsenal, for example, he's been getting very limited chances this season.
He scored in Newcastle too.
Yeah, the Newcastle game, that was a good goal finish. He hasn't had a lot of chances this season, so that's why I was a little bit confused. I'm not sure if I've missed something or, but I still think Jackson's been pretty good this season. I'm not saying like we shouldn't get another striker. I agree with that part. We need another striker to compete with Jackson or play with Jackson, however you want to do it.
But here's the thing, and this is why I wanted to bring up when Shahzad originally, brought this topic to the surface, right? I feel like it's all good and dandy that we mentioned Gyökeres and Osimhen, and listen, at one point, Romelu Lukaku and Timo Werner were those guys. My concern...
Timo was him, though.
My concern is that the striker job at Chelsea is just a different animal,
True.
And that genuinely brings upon a huge ask for any striker. And we've seen Lukaku fail at that. And Lukaku, who, despite what you may think of him, he is in the world, at least at that time specifically too, one of the best strikers in the world, right? Like, if we're going to have respect for Osimhen, we have to have respect for Lukaku, who did what Osimhen did 2 seasons ago, twice in his career in Italy. So, like, even he couldn't put that burden on his shoulders. So, for me, what I'm seeing Jackson do in his first professional season, I'm cutting him a lot of slack. And not only am I cutting him a lot of slack, I actually believe he can be the number 1 for Chelsea. I still think we should get someone that could bring him competition, like a Gyökeres, like Shazad's saying, or an Osimhen, like was mentioned. But I still think like he could be that guy, because even with the amount of experience he has right now, he's doing a pretty decent job. He's doing better than the guys that we hyped up. Like, putting it into context, Timo Werner, before he came to Chelsea, and I'm bringing on Fatur, big up Fatur, welcome to the stream, brother. He also might have a say on this, but
The timing.
the timing too. Both of you guys being Timo Werner stans. But Timo Werner, you guys know this, Chris and Fatur, before
Great
he
player.
came to Chelsea, was second to most goal tally in the Bundesliga, just behind Lewandowski.
Yeah.
He was like top goal scorer.
Yeah.
He came to Chelsea, didn't happen. Lukaku, prior to coming to Chelsea, at Inter Milan, in conversations for Ballon d'Or and all that fun stuff, top goal scorer in Serie A, comes to Chelsea, dud. So, I mean, Fatur, you tell me, is it reasonable to think that we should probably get a big name striker like a Gyökeres or Osimhen, or where do you feel with Jackson, man?
I genuinely think that the markets right now hasn't been that convincing enough for me to say that, oh, we need a top striker. And if you look at from Gyökeres and Osimhen's point of view, is that I think Gyökeres would want to go to somewhere that is ready made to win trophies, like for example Real Madrid in some ways, or maybe on Manchester City, just in case Haaland leave next summer or maybe 2 summers later. Osimhen's right now, he's stuck in Turkey. I don't think he would want to come out there. I just think he's loving his life over there. But at the moment, it's that I do understand the sentiment of that. Right, we need a top striker, but at the moment, it's like I just wish that if we could have got a lot more early for Gyökeres, in my opinion, then it would have been a different conversation. But as of right now, Jackson for me has been improving a lot from last season. Let's get that right. But in order for us to take this team to a next level, to be more competing against the likes of Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, I think in the sense like Shazad said earlier, he was right. Like, you need to get a top striker, but at least a backup striker that can fight a competition with Jackson in that.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, someone to give competition with Jackson to Jackson. I don't think Jackson will ever have like a 25 or 30 goal a season. I mean, in the Premier League. In the Premier League, I don't reckon that he'll ever hit 30 goals or 25, even 25. I think he'll be maximum maybe 20 at the most, maybe even 21, 22. He won't get 25 or 30 goals. And I want someone that's a killer. I want someone to come in and give him competition. I want that killer to take the place and go for something like 30 goals a season, or 30, people like Haaland. Look at Haaland. You got Harry Kane. You got all these top strikers. They always get over 25 goals a season in the league.
Yeah.
All the top. If you don't get that, then you're not a world class striker. You're good, but you're not world class. And a club that we are, all that money we spent, all that, and the size of our club, we need someone up there. That's a world beater that we can trust and we can rely on. And if he's injured, or if he's he's out of form, then Jackson obviously could give him competition and work with each other like that. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, I'm not saying Jackson's rubbish. Yeah, he's a good striker. I think he will get better, but I think he's got a ceiling. I don't think he'll end up being as good as all these world-class strikers that, like I said, Harry Kane's and Gyökeres, Haaland's, and all these type of guys. I don't think he'll ever be one of those guys. I reckon he will get maybe maximum 21, 22, but in the league, but he won't get more than that. I don't think he's that kind of player. I don't know what you guys think. I mean,
like when come on to big games, him go missing in big games. We need a striker the way they can give you a goal when the game against us are referee play against us. You know, understand me I say? We need someone that can pick the rabbit out of the hat.
It's a tough ask as well.
I get what you're saying. I just think like with the way that the market is right now, like in January, and with the way that our team is structured at the moment, I think unless some of us are under the illusion that we're somehow challenging for the title this season, I think Jackson is good enough to see us through the season to get top 4. And past that, I think this winter window is going to be absolute hell with the amount of teams that are going to be going for potentially strikers. And do we really want to get into that dogfight? I don't know. I think in the summer window would be the best time to reassess our options, look at a striker, because I do want to get a gunsman. I don't necessarily want to get somebody as young as Jackson. Preferably we'd get somebody older. Give Jackson that time to develop, see what his ceiling truly is. But in the meantime, we have somebody up top that has experience, that, you know, has, for me, an important thing is I need like a proven track record of showing up in big games. Because again, that's something that we talked about, right? It's like we need Jackson to show up in those big games. Get us a striker that does that. That's fine. That's one of the requirements that I want. But this winter window, if we're gonna talk about needing a striker, nah, man, like give me a goalkeeper. Give me a goalkeeper and a center back. I feel like that should be our priorities. Because what is going to potentially stop us from getting top 4 is not going to be Jackson. It's going to be the defense. And that's why for me, like these conversations for me, like would have a lot more context to it and weight to it after the winter window, when we see which strikers end up where and what potential options we might have during the summer. Because as of right now, like striker is not my priority. Goalkeeper and center backs is. So.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Like what I wanted to say was that the goalkeeper. Obviously, we do need a world-class goalkeeper as well. I mean, no team ever becomes great or wins titles and Champions Leagues without a really good goalkeeper. You've got to have a world-class goalkeeper. You've got to have a real top player there. If you don't, you're not going to win Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. Because ultimately, that's what we want. We don't want to just be in the top 4. We want to win titles. We want to win leagues, and we want to win Champions League. And we have to compete with Man City, with Liverpool, and these top clubs. We've got to have a really good goalkeeper, someone between the sticks who knows what he's doing, and do it and does a good job. Because with people like Sanchez, like you all say, he's got bozo moments in him. You always, when you watch him in a game, you know after maybe not the next game, but almost in one in 2 games, he's gonna have a bozo moment. He's gonna do something stupid, or he's just gonna let one in like he did in the near post in the last game. Yeah, I mean Sanchez, like I said, Sanchez is not good. He's average at best. And
so. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I like to ask unique questions. I would like to think that I have a pretty unique perspective on the way I ask some of these questions. Do you guys feel that the goalkeeper market is very much like the striker market in terms of the options out there are super highly priced?
There's a couple
and then,
out there though.
Well, Chris, what keepers do you have in mind? Because right now, off the top of my head, before we continue, right now, off the top of my head, the ones that everyone wants, Maignan, right? And
Costa,
well, he's injury prone.
Yeah, Costa's
Mamardashvili's already going to Liverpool, so he's off the table, right?
Let's get Alisson.
People have been talking about Oblak for years now.
Talking about him.
What are you saying, Lil C?
Simon.
Who?
Spain keeper, man.
Who's keeper?
Spain.
Unai
Simon.
Yeah.
He plays for Bilbao, right?
Yeah.
He's alright. I would try to go for like Costa first, or I'd love to get Kobel, but
well, people have been questioning Costa a lot lately.
Okay,
to be honest.
Well, that Man United performance, I'm not gonna lie, that made me question things.
even an Oblak, how old is Oblak on?
He's old.
And
I
so-
mean, I've always wanted our Black since Courtois left. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to bring him in, but it's just we never looked at him.
Yeah,
But,
he was one of the best, and but his age.
I really like him.
He's getting on now. He's getting older, but he was always one of my favorite goalkeepers. I think he was.
We got
He
rid
was,
of at age 32, I think, as well.
He was awesome. Yeah, he was. I mean, he's awesome, but we need someone like an Oblak, someone like that.
Coble, I think is close to that.
Yeah,
I think his saving ability is pretty good. I really like Coble. Every time I watch him with Chelsea or the odd few games, he seems to do pretty good for him. And I would put my neck on it. I think Coble would work out at Chelsea, but I don't think we're going to look at Coble. Because maybe his kicking ability. I haven't really seen too much of his kicking, to be honest. But Coble, I would love to have him.
In theory, right, with the goalkeeper market, in theory, we only really need someone for like 2-3 years. In theory, because like if these scouts have done their job, we have got 2 of the best young goalkeepers in the world. In theory,
yeah.
So it's like all you really need is someone for like 2-3 years who can be there and do kind of what we did with Czech and Courtois. Like they're there and they're like able to kind of be both a mentor plus kind of a stopgap in a way, but more than just a stopgap. Until one of Penders or Slonina are good enough.
and I think just by the, I think one of them should be. I mean, they can't both. It's highly unlikely that both of them will flop. I think one of them, when it Penders or Slonina, in 2 or 3 seasons, or maybe even 4 seasons, might end up being so good that we're in that position. We're not going to be sorted. We're going to be like, yeah, we've got a really good goalkeeper.
Mhm.
I mean, I really doubt that they're all going to flop. I mean, every youngster.
So you say that, right? But in my mind, this is the one criteria, and we had this discussion last show, right? About defensive, the center backs and stuff. I feel like in my mind, this is the one criteria where I feel like the recruitment may be off the pulse for this one, because Petrovic apparently to them wasn't good enough, right? We all here thought that he at least did the basics well. He was a little bit of a steadier or a safer pair of hands than Sanchez. Towards the end of last season, you could question, okay, there's a little bit of liabilities here and there, but who knows if that was either the system or just Petrovic himself, right? With Sanchez, this is one that we've seen the reports. They trust him. They want to put all their eggs in the Sanchez basket. They think he's going to be one of the best in the world. He's going to develop into that. I don't know. When you got the recruitment team or rumors that the recruitment team really trusts this guy, it makes me question, like, maybe these other ones are also duds. Part of me, listen, mind you, I have my eggs in the Penders basket. That's how down bad I am right now. If you guys think he's the next Thibaut Courtois, then you know what? Take it. Please be the next Thibaut Courtois without the snaky part, obviously. But someone was going to say something. I interrupted someone.
The thing is, like, I can't speak for Penders because I haven't seen him. When it comes to Slonina, they, excuse me, these scouts are not the only ones who've seen what they've seen. Like, everything I heard about Slonina, in terms of like watching podcasts about the MLS and things like that, was that there were elements to his game, and I'm not saying that he's going to become this good or anything. It's just elements to his game that were very similar to Buffon at the same age. And he was at the time, like, he was courted, I think, by Bayern, I think maybe Real Madrid. There was a couple teams like when we were interested. I can't remember who exactly, but we're interested around the same time. So it's like the scouts aren't the only one that have seen something good in him, even though their track record so far is, let's be nice and say, sketchy. And with Penders, like, again,
Bayern was after him apparently.
Yeah, and it seems to be another one where it's like he might be the next Courtois. Like there seems to be something there, right? And again, you're looking at Belgium goalkeepers, especially from like, I think it's Genk we signed him from. Like, there's a decent track record there. Courtois, obviously. There's a guy who plays at RB Leipzig, I think, who came from Genk, who's also Belgian. I can't think of what his name is. It begins with B. And so, like, I trust that they have, at least with those guys, done their job. I said, for the meantime, then you just have to get someone who can be a stopgap. Someone like an Ortega, an Oblak, I don't know, an Emi Martinez. I don't know if any of these guys would actually join, but someone like that, where it's like you can have them in and you know they're going to be solid for 3-4 years.
I
I
definitely.
can't deal with I'll be real. I can't deal with Sanchez or Jorgensen for 3-4 years. Like, and these type of goalkeepers.
Yeah, I hear
Because
it.
also, sorry, just before you go, Fata, the other thing about with these goalkeepers is the guys we've got in. What are they learning off of? They're learning off a 27-year-old who is arse and has been shit since Brighton, or they're learning off a 22-year-old who's had one good year at Villarreal. That's what they're learning off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, JC, welcome to the channel. Member of the channel, so big up to you. Thank you for your support. And I mean, we're talking about goalkeepers right now, which obviously is inevitable. We needed to talk about Sanchez because we're Chelsea and we're trying to win the league at some point, and we can't do it with Robert Sanchez. But I mean, your thoughts overall, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, if like this is one topic I try to avoid everywhere because like when we talk,
well, you failed to avoid it now, so here we are.
Yeah, because like more discussion we are having, more criticism we are having, it's gonna create more pressure on him. And to be honest,
but JC, that's right. You actually defended Sanchez a bit last stream, so this is going to be interesting. Talk to me.
I am really defending him in the sense nothing can be done until the transfer window. So we need to stop it because unlike the on-field players, goalkeepers need the confidence, and the way the fans and the noises, it's going to affect his performances. So at the moment, I would just try to support him. And to be fair, like let's be honest, it's 11 games he has played under a normal manager. And when I look at what Maresca needs in the goalkeeper, because let's be honest, we have a fairly easy run of games, which might give him some breathing space if he performs well. And if Maresca gets good results, then he's staying for another year for sure, because if up until 25th of January he gets results, then we will be in a fairly good position and he's not going anywhere next year also. So then if we are looking at a goalkeeper, then we have to look what Maresca needs. And Maresca in the preseason already started this way, and he said very clearly he wants the goalkeeper to be part of that back four line. And he stopped doing that because he realized like even Sanchez was not very comfortable in that. But if, to be honest, we have to look at some goalkeeper, we can look at whatever he like. It will be what Maresca wants eventually. His feedback will be very important. The way he wants to play will be very important. And I don't see anybody who can do that job without being in certain level of discomfort.
I mean, I have a lot to say to that, but I'm sure you guys have a lot more to say as well. So I'll let you guys have that.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all should support Sanchez, but at the end of the day, in the next, well, up until the end of the season, we're going to see how much we can support him because he's going to show us till the end of the season what he can do and how many more Bozo moments he's going to have if he does have any more. Because I think we all know he will have more Bozo moments. And we're going to see where we are in the season, and then at the end of the season, they're going to make a decision. I think they will make a decision. They're going to say, listen, we need to sort this out. It's not working with this goalkeeper, and there's too many mistakes. I mean, they can't be that stupid to see how many mistakes he's making and how he's costing us points. And at the end of the day, I think they will make a decision. But I don't think it will be in January. I think maybe end of season.
Hang on.
No. For me, it's as simple as this. It's as simple as this. We know for a fact that the sporting directors that we have are very number driven. When they went to go give a reason why Poch should be sacked, even though we went on a good run at the end of the season, they came with the statistics. That's literally what it was said. They literally came with the statistics.
They
wrote a whole report.
Page essay.
That's what I'm saying. They wrote a whole 10-page report with just the numbers showing why Pochettino will be ineffective for the team that in the way that we're trying to play. Perfect. I know for a fact that they have the numbers on Sanchez, and I'm not even gonna talk about the transfer window. I'm not even gonna talk about the transfer window because, and I like until. For me personally, Sanchez has already played his way out of the starting position. It's that simple. You can't tell me that we need to continue backing him when he keeps making errors game by game. Whether or not we are punished because of those errors is indifferent to me. because
get
he's
you.
making them again and again and again. If he is at the level where we're playing at home and there's the Brighton away fans behind him and they're getting into his head, he's not made for this level. And this is what I'm saying. I agree that we need to maybe look at a striker, but what would potentially cost us top 4 is going to be Sanchez. He needs to be dropped, if anything, for his own well-being too. Last season, keep in
Can I
mind,
jump in a little bit?
he came back. Well, let me finish, and then I'll let you talk. I was quiet throughout the whole time. There was last season. Remember, he got injured. He came back, but Petrovic made that spot his because he wasn't making bozo errors. But Petrovic obviously is not the keeper that we need, but he's better than Sanchez because he's not costing us points that Sanchez was costing us. And we can all admit Petrovic was not amazing keeper either. But Sanchez sets the bar so low that until I'm convinced otherwise, I want Jorgensen to start. I need to see Jorgensen for me to see how is he actually worse than Sanchez. That's it.
Same.
Everybody gangs up on him.
Fetter, before you go, I'm just going to let JC respond, and then Fetter, I want to hear what you have to say.
First of all, stats and Excel show what you want to look at that. Look at the game. Except for Brighton, every mistake, you can also partly blame the structure and the defenders.
Nope.
Every.
Nope.
Yep.
I can just tell you no.
Okay, let me. Now, don't interrupt, please. Now, yeah. I will go to the very extreme example, and I will try to show the point in that. The most extreme, which the fans have like fantasies or what you say, kinky about, is the goal he gave it to Rice. And everybody looks at those replays. The replays start when he kicks the ball, and they don't show at that moment where is Rice, where is Gallagher, and what structure we used to play. Rice was literally 7 yards away from Gallagher. Gallagher was supposed to collect that ball, and there was Enzo, one touch, Enzo, ball gone. Gallagher was sleeping. Rice caught out 7 yards and collected the ball and hit the ball. Everybody says it's Sanchez. Go find the total video where you can see the position at the moment of the kick. Where is Rice and where is Gallagher? And that's why I say that's the most extreme example. Now, has he been good? No. But another reasoning. Czech said very clearly, being at Chelsea or at a top club, the thing is you will have very few saves to make. The challenge is to be switched on all the time. But the way Sanchez is playing, the way Maresca is playing, it's all in the moment, in the heat of the moment, all the time, like we are inviting pressure and hitting back, That's different. And there will be chances. And if not everybody in the team is switched on, there will be chances conceded. And now, finally, it's 11 games under a proper system he has played. He's made mistakes in 6 of them. 6 or 5 or 6 of them. That's a lot. But we have also played 6 top sides where you make a small error, the teams will punish you. Those kind of teams we have played. Now he is going to have a light, easier game of runs. And now if he gets the proper stats, then I will ask all the Excel merchants, now come up and show me the Excel sheets. Because Excel sheets show you what you want to look at. And making undue, like people get triggered, everybody's triggered. It's helping nobody. The transfer window is closed. The only discussion we can have is what kind of a goalkeeper is Maresca looking for? And is there anyone available who can play like that?
Yes.
I mean, Jorgensen can't be worse than him. I mean,
that's my
point.
Jorgensen has had same difficulties while playing in Conference League.
Let me
been asked to play the similar Maresca ball.
Let me address specifically what you said, JC, right? That when we look at the positioning of other players, it's their fault, etc., right? Even taking away like the tremendous errors, I can point to you multiple times, right, where we are playing at the back, which is what Maresca wants, right? We're playing out of the back, and there are 3 options that Sanchez has, and almost every single time, and Marshall knows this because how many game days just this season, and Marshall and I didn't speak last season, but just this season did I say, and I think even in preseason, I was also telling to Marshall, watch Sanchez, he will make the pass to the defender that's under pressure nearly every single time. which is the worst choice out of all three he could possibly make. Second thing, even like taking away, like I'm even taking away the stats, right? Because I'm not a stat merchant. I do both. I have eyes. I use them. Every time Sanchez clears the ball, this is a good keeper can clear the ball into a dangerous position where maybe your forward line can fight for it and get to it. How many times did we see Sanchez clear the ball?
By the way, I will answer
How many
all your
times?
points.
How many times do we see Sanchez try to play the ball long and it just goes out, or it just goes straight to
I
the
can
other
tell
team?
you exactly how many times.
It's clear as day
Can I
Sanchez
answer
is
these
a
2
problem.
points? Let me answer these 2
Clear as
points.
day Sanchez
Let
is a
me answer.
problem. And Rogerson has to
Azad,
be.
let me answer these
Okay.
2 points which RSM puts forward.
Yeah, answer those 2 points, and I'm gonna let the next caller in. Oh, actually,
Yes,
he's not even there
please.
anymore.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I really didn't wanted to have a Sanchez discussion. There were more interesting things to talk about, but I mean, if it is, so be it. Like, there were
It
so many
happens.
much more interesting thing I wanted to trigger discussions about, Marshall, really. But the 2 points. All our passes from the back are on the carpet. Nobody is playing hoofball. Even the defenders are doing that. And all those passes can carry a certain amount of risk because that's the way we build up and that's the way we attack. And that's the way he's been asked to do that. As for the long balls, yes, there are 2 or 3 long balls which go out. But let me tell you, the same amount of long balls going out are with Jorgensen. You people are blind not to compare it because you have decided in 11 games and to be honest, like first 3-4 games he was well, and I used to joke, first mistake and the whole gang of the fans will be on top of him, and it just happened. It's like 11 games.
Okay,
We still
but
have
we have short-term
we
memory.
will
though.
see. The
It's not
jury is
11
out.
games. It's not 11
The
games. We
jury
saw him
is
last
out.
season.
We will
No,
see.
no,
We
11
saw
games.
him last season.
Maresca won't give in. Fans can shout as much as you want. Maresca won't give in because Maresca sees probably some things which we do not see. Before leaving, Marshall, I will just give 2 things for triggering good discussion. Just before this previous phase between 2 transfer windows, international breaks, we were thinking like now we have a challenging fixtures coming up, and we will see at the end of those fixtures where we stand. And now we are talking about the next fixtures. So judging on past this fixtures, which we had tough ones, what we have learned is what Maresca said, and it's true. And like that's how he's playing. He said we are ahead in our development. Our results are ahead of our development where we used to be, and we should be. And he played pragmatic. He still thinks we are nowhere near to be challenging in the top 2-3 or something. And I expect him to be still pragmatic in games against Spurs or some things like that. And that might affect the results because as we see on his strategy on the game, and as we see from his words, and he's taking this season very lightly. He's nowhere near talking about challenging or top 4 or anything. He's keeping it like cool vibes and all that. We are developing, we are ahead of it. And I don't think he's going for a win in next 10 games. And that will affect because he's not really like fighting to win every game. He is developing. His priority right now is developing.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but we can be better. We can be better. It's with Sanchez that's costing us many points, and we can be better. All we need is to replace him, and I think they will. Eventually they will. They're gonna see come the end of the season. They're gonna see how many mistakes he keeps making, and how many bozo moments he's having, like we were all saying, and then they're gonna decide. Hold on, we can't carry on like this because this guy, even though he's got some good shot stopping skills, but he's average at best. Like I said before, he's average at best. And average is not good enough for us. You can play for someone like Brighton and be their goalkeeper, but he can't be ours because
the issue for me is Sanchez isn't even average. You know who was average? Petrovic. Petrovic is average in everything that he did. But Sanchez is worse than average because he's costing us. He's putting us in dangerous positions.
You're right.
Costing us points. Like this for me is the thing. It's unforgivable. Like, and again, I'm not running defense for Jorgensen because I remember like he said, "Oh yeah, but Jorgensen also his long balls aren't excellent." That's fine. He just needs to not cost me points. That's all we need. You need a keeper to not cost me points, and we get top 4.
I wouldn't look, by the way. Like, okay, like there's so much I want to say on this because like there's so much false things that have been said. Number one, it's not just 11 games.
Yeah, go ahead. The only reason, JC, I was entertaining that conversation is because you're one of the few fans out there that are actually defending Sanchez. And, I mean, I get where you're coming from. It's a different perspective, which you don't hear enough of. I mean, go ahead, Scott. Continue what you were saying.
Cool. I would say it's not just 11 games. Like, this is now 3 seasons worth, or we're in our 3rd season worth of him doing this. 4 if you want to include more time at Brighton. This is the same Sanchez that was at Brighton. This is the same Sanchez that was doing the same things. Like, for as good as he was at Brighton, he was still making mistakes consistently. Yeah. I think ultimately, people can say what they want about falling out with De Zerbi. I think part of it is as well that he just thinks that he thought at the time that Steele and Verbruggen, who he then brought in, are better than Sanchez, which at least one of them has turned out to be in Verbruggen, is way better than Sanchez. So it's not just an 11 games thing. He's still the same Sanchez as last season. Nothing has changed. We're playing a different system. He's got different centre-backs in front of him, and nothing has changed. Same with Brighton. That's 3 separate managers. Actually, kind of even 4, because I think he played under Potter as well. 4 separate managers, 4 separate systems.
He did play under
kind
Potter.
of. And
he was good
the same
under
guy.
Potter. Yeah.
Oh, he was good, but he still had the mistakes. That's the thing, is he was good, but still had mistakes. So the mistakes haven't gone. Number 2 is, I said this on Ziad's channel earlier, he's a complete net negative as a player. His shot stopping is good, not great. His decision making is terrible, which comes down to what we said earlier about like dallying on the ball, concentration, all the things that you need to have when you're playing for a top team. You don't face a lot of shots.
In the Prem? He has a conversation to be worse in the Prem for decision making. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, he is. No.
Like,
There is only one keeper I think
I'm
is
trying to
worse.
think of a keeper that might be worse in decision making.
I'll be honest. I only think there's one worse keeper than him in the Prem.
He makes the defense nervous. I swear to God.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
He makes the defense nervous. The defense are making more mistakes because of him. What he's doing, he's having both the moments and he's making the defense nervous. And all it's a combination of messing up the whole back part of the back part of the team, and that's costing us because it's not just hitting bozo moments, it's he's making the whole defense nervous. Because they don't know what this guy's gonna do or what's you know what I mean? He's like I'm serious to be
as well, as I was saying, like his distribution sucks as well. And like, I'll get onto that in comparison to yours in a moment. Let's talk about stats. Like he's currently made 3 errors. He's joined first, by the way, for errors leading to a goal in the Premier League. He's joined with the worst goalkeeper in the league in Muric at Ipswich. Like, they both have 3. They're the only 2 players in the league with 3 errors leading to goals. He's on course for over 10 errors leading to goals. If he reaches that, that will have doubled West Fotheringham last season, who was top for Sheffield United. That's a Sheffield United team who conceded 104 goals.
Oh my God.
Dark, my friend.
He's going to double that, by the way. Double the errors.
In the small games, I perform that small game, but when it comes on to big games, you have the balls a moment. All the thing I feel I see him. I feel like the runner games, small runner games, I go show him up. And Morris, I go really see the balls a moment, so he might have a real say him a cast the points.
See, but the thing is, though, like, even I feel like him gaining confidence as a goalkeeper works against us because it gives him confidence to do really idiotic things that end up not working out. And that's like where we have our moments like, what was the stupid goal he conceded where he came out and didn't even get the ball?
Liverpool.
And then...
You talking about the Jones one?
No. Was it the Jones one?
It was twice in one game, right?
Yeah.
One wasn't a pen.
He came out,
and then one.
Yeah, the one against Jones where he came out, got nutmegged, but he did touch it. But
he came out to punch the ball and missed it completely.
Right.
That wasn't this season.
That was this season.
Right when him come out and miss it.
Oh my God! It was Brighton. It was Brighton.
He
went to go punch it and he completely missed.
That was like his first like
I think he
run
collided
of.
into Corella, bro.
That was like the beginning of the bad run of like errors, where I was like, "This is what I mean." Like, if he's the reason he comes out, right? In my opinion, the reason he comes out for that ball is because he's confident he can get it. But that confidence blinds him, and he thinks it's a good decision when it's a really bad one.
When you're coming out, you need to be confident to catch it, not confident.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
He can't command his box at all. And I just want to point out as well. I just want to go back to the stats with Jorgensen. I went and looked at Jorgensen's last 4 games. His passing accuracy is no lower than 88% across those 4 games. No lower. Also, his long passing across those last 4 games in no particular order. You had 2 long balls attempted, no successful. But he only attempted 2. Long balls 7, he completed 4. 4 completed 1, and 3 completed 1. So he's not even attempting that many long balls. SANCHEZ, 3 out of 15, and 6 out of 25.
I mean, that shows he's finding a short pass and doesn't need to kick it out like SANCHEZ.
Fact.
Yeah. Dark, my guy.
Jorgensen is better at the stuff that he wants to do. So.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I'm at the point where I'm okay with just playing Jorgensen, because if it's the same, then let's see it.
Jorgensen needs to prove it to me that he's worse.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
before Dark goes, can I answer this question? I don't know if he's available, but Ortega does everything that we would want. He plays for the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's available, but he does every single thing you'd want from a goalkeeper in this system.
I hope we get something. But Dark, my friend, welcome to the channel. Big supporter of the channel as well. So big up to you, my friend. Tell me, man, what's on your mind? What do you want to add to the discussion?
I don't know. I just got out the shower. I just came back from work, so
here's for the vibes.
I don't even know. Yeah, I'm just
for
chilling.
it,
Hey, can we talk about the most pointless transfer in Chelsea history in João Felix?
Oh, stop.
Oh,
You mean clunky,
He went for the
alright?
low blow. He went for the low blow. It is what I have another caller back here. Actually, let me add him real quick. AK4P, Man City fan, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the support, my friend. Talk to me. What is on your mind? What do you want to add to the discussion that we just had, man?
Yeah, I mean, I just came back from work, so yeah, I mean, like same situation, yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, to be honest, I mean, this season I'm seeing a different Chelsea. Like the way you guys are playing, you guys are at least playing better football compared to last season under Maresca.
Oh, much better football. It's not. It's night and day.
It's not
It
even
is
close.
night and day. It's insanely night and day. Actually, since you're a City fan, I kind of am curious your perspective on your keeper situation. Is Ortega? Do you think Ortega will be up for grabs at some point? Like, is that something that City would be willing to do away with? Because I would love an Ortega in this team. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I know, as much as you love Ortega being in Chelsea, and he was being linked several times, but yeah, at the moment we are not. I mean, at the moment we're not looking for a replacement keeper yet to replace Edison. So at the moment, yeah, I mean, Ortega is staying. Unfortunately for you guys, Ortega is still staying. So unless we find a replacement to at least for an Edison or for an Ortega, then we can think about releasing one of them. But as for now, I mean, like now since Pep has extended his contract for a year, I think they're going to stay.
Wow. Even with Ederson, there's no been any rumblings of the, because I know this past summer there was rumblings of a Saudi link with Ederson, potentially him going to Saudi. Is that still a thing on the table, you think?
I mean, it was on the table for like 2-3 months, I think, and also I think Al Nassr have withdrawn from it now because since they can't persuade my club to let Edison go, because Edison is one of our most important goalkeepers in the team, and we can't let him go because he's the only keeper in our team who can at least play. He's basically a ball-playing goalkeeper who has very good distribution. So so he's like hot commodity for us.
It's just a hot commodity for the world. I mean, everyone's looking for a ball playing center, ball playing goalkeeper. I mean, it seems that like if Ederson were to go, then there's no way they're getting rid of Ortega.
I don't think they get rid of him anyway. I think the fact that they gave him a new contract, I believe, in the summer or the end of last season. And I think the whole thing of them willing to let Ederson go, like I fully believe Ortega would have become the number one for them if he'd have left, because I think he showed in the games that he played, like when Ederson was injured and in the cup, like he's more than comfortable, I think, playing that system. Like he's not quite as, what's the word I'm looking for, like mad as Ederson is, but he still has that ability to like take the ball out from the from goal, like bring it forward. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet. And yeah, I think it just shows the level of what's it called, like not commitment, but like trust they have in him, that they were willing to let Ederson go.
Yeah, I guess so. It's obviously time will tell, because there's also links with Kelleher, and I don't think Kelleher is going anywhere. But also, we never know, because wait, you wouldn't want Kelleher? Because to me, honestly,
I was just gonna ask that question.
No, absolutely not.
Wait, why would you want Kelleher?
You don't think he's a good shot stopper or decent?
I think he's I think he's decent, but that's about it. Like, there's two things for me. Number one is, I swear last season there was Liverpool fans, because he went through a rough patch last season, and I swear there were Liverpool fans talking about he wasn't as good as they thought he were. I'm sure that happens. I could be completely mistaken, but I'm sure it happened. Number two,
Liverpool fans saying he's the best number 2 in the league.
Yeah, cool. They're saying that now.
Gassing him up to toss him out.
They're saying that now while Alisson's injured. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's not better than Ortega. Number two, if he was as good as they say they are, why would they get Mamadashvili?
Well, yeah, that's where I'm getting at, right? Because, like, to me, Kelleher, I think Kelleher is a good keeper. I do believe that. Like, I'm not going to go out and say he's the best number 2 in the league. I feel like maybe that's up for debate between Ortega and Kelleher. But even so, you got to kind of give respects, because he stepped up in this tough run of fixtures that Liverpool have had just recently when Alisson wasn't there, and he's performed, and they still have, the best goal difference in the league.
Yeah, but just look at him, Marshall. Does he give you any confidence when you look at him in goals?
More confidence in Sanchez.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
That bar's in hell. Yeah, that bar's in hell.
We're talking about arguably the worst keeper in the league. Any keeper, bro. We could go and sign the Southampton goalkeeper, and he's better. We could go and sign Ramsdale today. I'm not even shitting you. We could sign Ramsdale today, and we upgrade goalkeeper.
I'd rather this
Ben Foster out of retirement.
Give me Plank and goal, bro. I swear to God, give me Plank and goal, and I guarantee you, Man United couldn't score a single goal. They hit him every time, bro. Give me Plank. On God, give me Plank.
He's spitting. We could have taken Neuer. We could have taken Neuer after he came back from breaking his leg, where he couldn't kick the ball properly, and he's better than Sanchez. We could have had a one-legged Neuer, and he would be better than Sanchez.
Jesus fucking Christ, man!
Like, that's not the bar.
Crazy.
And like, I'll be honest, this whole best number 2 in the league thing, like that's such an L for me. Like, because number one, outside of Ortega, like, who is actually good, like saying you have the best number 2
it's not
in
really
the league,
a competition, to be honest.
Bro, like that's the whole point of a number 2. Like for example, like Arsenal went and signed Norberto Neto as their backup goalkeeper.
I don't know who the fuck.
They signed the wrong guy, apparently.
Bournemouth's first choice from last season. They were looking at a guy from Espanyol to come in and be their backup. Like, this idea of best number 2 in the league. If it ain't Ortega, who gives a shit? Like,
fair enough. Fair enough. But, like, okay, let's just, like, walk down this hypothetical, right? To me, Kelleher seems like the type of signing our recruitment would do. And to even entertain what you were saying, Scott, we need a keeper to hold us out for about 2 to 3 years. You don't think Kelleher can do that job?
Oh, maybe. Like, he maybe could, but then you got to flip him. Like, at least, also, again, it comes back to learning. This guy's, what, 20?
There's no way it would be. Yeah, but there's no way it would be an expensive transfer, would it?
But the football we know we want to play, like, where the keeper comes out the box and slides into the
I don't know if he can do that.
He's not doing that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know if he can do that. Like, again, my thing with like the goalkeeper and centre back situation, just kind of covering that as well. These owners and sporting directors need to show me that they are serious in some areas. They've shown it with the attack and the midfield. They've shown me that when it comes to those two positions, they are serious. They take those positions seriously. Even
I think they're scarred from the Koulibaly. They threw money at center backs. Like we've done that.
Yeah, but like I agree, but they've done it poorly. Like, and like they've nearly every position they've shown me that they are serious in terms of like they are willing to sign someone of quality. Centre back, I argue they have done. It's just there's certain things they've gone about the wrong way. It's not necessarily a quality thing. Goalkeeper, I'm yet to be convinced. Outside of the two young guys we signed.
Yeah, goalkeeper has been
Outside
shit.
of the two young guys we signed, I'm yet to be convinced they give a shit about the goalkeeper position. Because Kelleher would be another indictment to me. They don't care. That's a £25 million stopgap that you're going to have for like 3-4 years, and it's not even a good stopgap. Like it's a guy who's there, cool. Like he'll be here just to do something, I guess.
It's been goalkeeper
That's
and
not
striker.
serious.
We
That's
just
not
lucked
serious.
into Jackson low key because like who else have we really signed? Up
Like
top?
for example, right? Again, I'll keep
I-
going back to it with like the whole with the Kelleher thing as well. Like, if we sign Kelleher, how do you know for definite that he's better than Jorgensen? I don't even rate Jorgensen like that, but like,
My
you
issue
signed
is
someone who had
we
a
just need
quality
a
year who was one of the best.
Oh, Penders or one of them motherfuckers develops, and like at that point they better pray that they got, what they paid for.
Yeah, but who wants a developing goalkeeper? Give me the like. I need a keeper.
No,
that-
we don't need
Right now
we
we get the top
we need a
keeper.
proven goalkeeper.
Right now, that's what I'm saying. Right now we get the proven goalkeeper. That's it. And that's
100%.
what I'm saying. We don't get the 22-year-old. Give me like a 26, 27 proven goalkeeper. That's gonna give us 4 years, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, like that's the thing. We got 3 goalkeepers because I'll throw Jorgensen in there as well because he's 22. Like we got 3 goalkeepers who realistically could become good if you give them time.
Yes.
But like one of them's got a hit. The only problem is there's no one ahead of them. Like there's no one ahead of them. It's Sanchez, man.
Bro, I'm losing my mind the more we talk about the goalkeeper situation. I'll be honest.
It's
Well,
fine.
I mean-
Oh, the centre back, like, bro, that's me with the centre back. I'll be so honest. That's me with the centre back situation.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah,
Bro, when I
just
see
ignore that half of the pitch. That
when I
back that triangle.
Bro, I know I talked about it on that last stream we did as well. But like, when I see people talking about Anselmino and us getting linked with Araujo, bro, I'm gonna yeet myself out my goddamn window.
Yeah, Araujo's
20-year-old.
Araujo's not it, bro.
Bro, RSM. I looked the other day. You know, this is his second full season of professional football.
What is he gonna fix in the
Ooh,
back?
Araujo from
What is he gonna
Barcelona?
fix?
No. The Thomas, the Benfica. This is his second full
Thomas
season.
Araujo, Benfica.
He
Yeah.
played one season
let me
at Gil
look him up.
Vicente. Yeah, he played one season at Gil Vicente. He played about 9 games last season. This is his first full year at Benfica where he's consistently playing. And we're about to try and sign him in January.
I'm losing my
I will
mind.
kill myself.
I mean, in a video game.
I'll literally do a backflip off the Empire State, bro. On God. Like,
in a video game. In GTA 5. No, 4. No, yeah, 4. 4. No, 4 is 1. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Lately, I mean, it's international break, right? I have nothing else to think about. Lately, I've been thinking about that Murillo signing, and I'm being more.
Who?
Listen, Nottingham Forest is doing pretty good right now. He's convincing me. I'm not gonna lie, especially for the inverting role that we're asking. Isn't he left back?
What inverted
right
role?
back?
Don't we
Can
have
he
the
play
best right
across the
back in the league? I've been told.
He plays left centre back. Does that mean Cole steps out?
oh God.
I mean, Cole can.
Fofana, bro. Like.
So I said you're gonna have Maria and
Fofana
Fofana.
really that bad? Guys, he just come back from an injury.
Yeah,
Like
but
he
that's my
might get
point.
better.
But that's my point. Like,
Oh, fuck him.
I know Scott hates this game.
He don't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck.
no, bro. Our team is literally just so like top heavy, bro. It's crazy.
I'd rather be top heavy than be like Arsenal, though. We have a good problem. That's all I'm gonna say. I'd rather be top heavy than,
And yeah, have the freaking whole navy in the back. Yeah, I mean, Scott, what exactly is your issue with Murillo, though? I'm curious.
Now, to be fair, I thought he was a lot worse than he is. Like, because we got linked with him.
There's someone on the bed.
What was that?
We got linked.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I think we got linked with him last season. And bro, like, I was not convinced. Like, because I think I saw a couple games and he just looked like a complete bozo to me. Last season. This season, I saw the game against Newcastle. That's the only real Nottingham Forest game I've watched outside of when they played us, and I don't remember what he played like. He was really good against Newcastle. In the back line. The issue, like, there's a couple issues I have with him. Number one is it's just the experience thing. Number one. Number two is positionally speaking. Like, if he plays, Cole was going to have to come out of that back line or play right centre back, which I'm fine with, but it doesn't really fix the issue of experience. And also, like, him and Fofana cannot play together. That's two guys that are looking to just, like, they're like golden retrievers. When they see that football, they go into it. Like, you can't have two centre backs that are like that. Like, we can't have two centre backs that both want to go and step to the ball.
He ball watches
both
so
of them do
much.
that. I'm not like Murillo is very aggressive. Yeah, they're both really aggressive, and you can't have that. You need to have one aggressive, one like sweeper. Like Arsenal they've got Saliba that's the sweeper, and they've got Gabriel that's the aggressive one. Like, you can't afford to have two aggressive guys.
Yep. You think we haven't been signing these elite players? Because I know it's gonna sound like the cliche, because we don't have Champions League football or whatever.
No.
Well, what really elite players have we signed though?
Caicedo, Palmer.
I mean, but I'll give you Caicedo. Palmer, who was in with Palmer with us? Like, we got him. Like, no one was really competing. Really?
No, but that's what I mean. I don't think you necessarily have to always compete with these guys. I don't necessarily think you have to always compete. It's more just like going out and being ready to get them, right? Like, that's the thing, because like, to be fair, even with I don't particularly rate him, but like, even with Tosin, right? Like, we were competing with a team that had Europe, I think. Where did Newcastle finish last season?
No.
Out
of European spots.
Oh, they didn't get Europe.
No. Seventh. Actually,
never mind then. Never mind then. Yeah, like, I think.
Pretty sure they got no Europe.
No, I don't think they did actually now. But like,
They
I
got
still think
seventh with 60 points behind us.
Yeah, that wouldn't. If they would have got it, if City had won the FA Cup, they would have got Conference League.
Yep.
Damn. Fuck you, City. Yeah, I think the ultimate, like, it's about going and finding like the right person, because like, obviously not everyone's going to be in for every centre back, right? Like Tar, for example, I know there's a couple teams in for him, so we might not get him.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, right? I'm not saying he would be good, but like someone like a Delict at Inter, like, no one's in for him, but he would probably do decent in our back line. He would fix a few things. So it's like that, and I want them to show ambition like that. Like, I'm sick of signing these 20-year-olds. I don't care. It's not a talent thing. It's like, show me that there is a level of like understanding about how to set up a football team, because there is not a football that you cannot set up a football team in a defense where you have one guy that's 21, I think he is, and one guy that's 23, and expect a leader to just appear, number one, and expect there to be no issues.
Yeah,
that's not how it works ever. Like, even like, you look at what Real Madrid are doing. Oh yeah, sorry, I meant De Vrij, not Delete.
Yeah.
Great. Even like, you look at Real Madrid, like, they're in for that Lukeba guy because they got Rudiger at the back and they've got Alaba. Like, they've actually got guys that he can learn off of. Like,
yeah, we fucked ourselves by not keeping one of those center backs.
Oh my god.
Hey, Christensen might be available though.
Yo,
we taking him back? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
he is levels better than every centre back.
Not only is that's not a question. That's not a question.
I think him injured.
And he be dirt cheap, bro, because Barca just letting him go. They're just desperate. They had to get off the books. That's it.
Barca's been desperately financial. Like, they've been desperate to get more.
Yeah, they can't sign him or like register him, I think. So he has to basically leave.
Jesus, it's like the 5th year of not being able to register players. Can they just get a ban already?
No, it's not a ban thing. It's because of it's wage bill. Like, So like if they wanted, he could stay there till literally for the rest of his contract. Like if he wanted to, and just train and play in the Champions League. He just can't can't play league.
Oh, league games. Oh,
yeah, because it's not like a universal thing. It's a league thing.
That's funny.
That's Barcelona for
Nah, you're a prime cuck if you ever just sit on the bench.
Because that's the thing. Because like when people talk about, I know it's a complete tangent. When people talk about Barca being broke, they're not broke, like in a sense of like they've got no money. It's more like they've got no wage.
They're restricted, yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. Like they can sign players. Like don't get twisted, they can 100% sign players. It's just like they've got no fucking wage bill and no like movement.
Yeah, for sure. That's a. I mean,
we freed them from.
They're doing pretty good right now in La Liga. So
yeah, big up, Hansi.
Yeah, big up. That's another manager I was kind of hoping we would get, but hey, I mean, I'm not complaining right now. Maresca's doing a good job, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, this run of game is important. We already discussed that, and hopefully, it's pretty much a near perfect run up until we run it back with Crystal Palace and the rest of the league. So we're reaching the halfway point.
Crystal Palace is a dub. We don't lose to them.
So, I mean.
Crystal Palace away on the 4th of Jan. Like I could understand if we did 10 points in that one.
I swear Pulisic got his perfect hat trick there. Like we don't lose to them.
We don't have
Pulisic that was Burnley.
Anymore, so.
Oh, was Burnley?
Oh, that was Burnley. Yeah,
another shit team.
Yeah.
Be mad way have another tweet or something.
Burnley.
Get them fired up.
Burnley.
But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up right here. We just hit the 2-hour mark. We got a pretty solid call-in show. I will be back tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea show, where we're going to be talking about a few bits of news, some of the things that we mentioned on here as well. So if you guys want to show some support and love, come in and tune in to that show, which would be tremendous, especially considering we're probably going to be talking about Leicester and the upcoming fixtures as well. So big up to everyone that showed up today. Big up to all our callers as well. You guys are great.
Shot.
You guys are great. You guys are great. So be sure to smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well if you also haven't done so. My raid message isn't working, which is weird. So, all right, well, we'll go without a raid message. We're going to be raiding Sarcasm City. Let them know where you guys are coming from by copying and pasting the raid message. I'm going to try one more time. Oh, nope, not going to work. Okay, fair enough. Oh, there it is. That was delayed. That was weird. Oh, well. Anyways. Yeah, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea show. Jam-packed schedule for me. I think they'll also be having a video dropping that we discussed a bit ago on Friday. So be on the lookout for that as well. And then we'll be back on Saturday for reaction to the match, which I'm sure I'll be looking forward to. Premier League is almost here, guys. It's hump day. We're almost there.
Yes.
Exactly.
We got the Spuds on Saturday.
You guys better win. You guys gotta fix up
that W,
Yeah,
bro.
you better win. You must.
We must win.
We'll be catching up. We'll be catching up.
We
AK.
must win. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna catch up, so we must win this. This is a must-win for us on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
So, 100%, especially because it's Spurs. But hey, we'll see. You never know what could happen. But we'll be here to react to it on Saturday. And yeah, guys, that being said, we'll go over and redirect over to Sarcasm City. Y'all have a wonderful night. And as always, stay casual. Peace.